What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're looking at my top 5 running back prospects from the draft. The last video we did free agency. Now we're doing the draft. Let's get it started. So last video, like I said, we looked at free agency. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to see the free agency list or my running backs from the draft list, but in this video, we're just going to do the draft, so we'll just do both of them to make it a lot easier. Again, if you guys have any video suggestions, just leave them in the comments. But let's get this thing started. We're going to hop into number 5, and then obviously we'll have our honorable mention right before number 1 because that's how cool people do it. So let's start this thing off at number 5, and that is Michael Hasty. Now, Michael Hasty, now let me actually say this. Let me say this before I get into the list. This list, I tried to spread it out. Like, I didn't want to put, like, the top 5 running backs in the draft, and then they would all go first or second round. I thought that didn't make any sense. I was going to put my favorite, but also mix it up to where you could possibly get one late, maybe mid-round, and then a couple of higher round guys. That's kind of how I was looking at this, okay? So let's continue with the list. So Michael, out of Baylor, he's a 5'9", 211-pound running back who's projected to go anywhere between the 6th round and maybe just do free agency, which, if he falls in free agency, then we know we can pick him up as an undrafted free agent, and then boom, you don't even have to spend a draft pick on him. That's how you do it right there. Now, there's not superstar talent out here at this point, but there is solid pieces. And right here, Michael here, who had 627 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns, and 180 receiving yards. Solid runner, plays for Baylor. We know Baylor had a heck of a season, so that's good. They played a lot of talent. They played some pretty good talent this season. Those numbers aren't terrible. They're not awful. Obviously, they're not like numbers that other guys are putting up. But again, if we're waiting till the 6th round and later, that's kind of the thing you can expect. And I put him in here because he's kind of like a dual threat type of running back. I don't know. We could use him, mix him around a little bit. So there you go. He comes in number 5. Now let's hop into number 4. And this is where I have J.J. Taylor, the running back out of Arizona. He's a 5'6", 185-pound running back. Reminds me a lot of Tariq Cohen, okay? This is what you would, if you were trying to imagine this guy in your head, think of Tariq Cohen, a small running back that can catch the ball in the backfield and make a lot of plays. You're asking yourselves, okay, why would we get another Tariq Cohen? Well, the reason I'm kind of looking at this is we do have Bo Scarborough, who's kind of more of a power type of guy. You know, we don't necessarily throw to him tons. We might have Kerryon Johnson. I'm not exactly sure. He's not a little dude. But we also have J.D. McKissick, who I think is not old, but, you know, he's not young either. So I think possibly this is that guy that could be maybe like the next Darren Sproles or something along those lines. I'd be cool with having a guy like that for the Lions. You know, maybe like a mix between a Sproles and a Theo Riddick. He had 721 rushing yards on 4.9 yards per carry, so that's a good thing to see. Okay, obviously, 5 touchdowns, 289 receiving yards. And I'm probably like, oh, those are solid. But if you look at 2018, his rushing stats were way better. 1.4 yards. Okay, no, 1.4 thousand. That doesn't sound right either. How about this? 1,400 rushing yards in 2018 and 6 touchdowns. That sounds a lot better. His receiving yards did take a dip that season. So, yeah, pretty consistent. That's good to see 2 pretty good years. So, you know, if we want to do kind of like Darren Sproles type of deal, I think he would make a little bit of sense. But now as we hop into the top 3, let me warn you, these guys are crazy talented. So let's get it started. Let's hop this off at number 3. We have Najee Harris. Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. This dude is a freak, okay? If you watch Michigan play him, holy cow. I mean, literally, I'm not sure if they were going for the ball or what, but they couldn't tackle him. He just kept running. I was like, yeah, that might be that dude, okay? I wasn't 100% sold, but I think I was sold a little bit there. 2nd and 3rd round type of talent, and obviously if we got him, I would be super happy no matter when we got him. 1.2 thousand yards. Okay, I need to really stop saying that. 1,200 rushing yards. It's the way I wrote it. 1,200 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, 304 receiving yards. All around, he can do it all. Played at Alabama, so he's in one of the toughest conferences. It is a little bit warmer there, so maybe, you know, that mess him up a little bit. But seriously, Alabama puts out running backs. Najee Harris is that next running back that they're putting out, and he's super talented, so he comes in at number 3. Now, hopping into number 2 is a running back that played in another talented conference, but it's a little bit colder, and that is the Big Ten, okay? Probably the best team in the Big Ten for the last few years, Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins, okay, coming in where I'm projecting him to go the 2nd round, possibly 1st round. I'm going 2nd round here, maybe 3rd. I don't think so. 2nd round. We're going to stick with 2nd round. Crazy stats. This dude is putting up numbers that the guy at number 1 is putting up, okay? Crazy stats throughout college. Over 1,000 yards rushing every single season pretty easily. In 2019, he was ridiculous. 2,000 rushing yards, 6.7 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, 247 receiving yards. Like, I don't know. Ohio State, if you watch Ohio State, they're not a team that wants to go throw the ball, okay? They're not trying to go out there and dot you up. They are trying to run the football, and that means the running backs are involved almost every single play. And J.K. Dobbins has been involved with Ohio State's offense heavily. He has been their main weapon, and there's a reason that he's going to go super high, and that I think we should definitely take him. Now, let's hop in that honorable mention. Now, I put, again, this at the honorable mention because I didn't want to have too many top-heavy players. Chuba Hubbard, I just threw him in here. Heck of a player. Huge season out of Oklahoma State. Maybe the next Barry. No, I'll stop right there. That was a joke. Let's just get to number one now. Coming in number one is Jonathan Taylor. You guys know Jonathan Taylor is my favorite running back in this draft class, and I'm projecting him to go first or second round. Super similar to what J.K. Dobbins is doing. But one thing I like about Taylor, he's basically putting up 2,000 rushing yards a season, like every year, almost, at Wisconsin, okay? This wasn't like a one-year thing. This dude was consistently balling. In this season, 2,000 rushing yards, 6.3 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, 256 receiving yards, which was actually a huge jump from any of his other years. It was his best. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in my opinion. I don't think J.K. Dobbins is far behind. Najee Harris, heck of a running back. The other two, I think, you're waiting a little bit, so that's kind of what you're expecting, but I think they can still help out. So there you go. Those are my 5 running backs. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.